Hello, my sweet friends. This is Tracy. I am so glad that you are here. Now, guys, I do share a lot of country craft ideas on my channel, and I'm so glad that you're here. If you're not currently subscribed, I hope that you would hit that subscribe button as well as the bell to be notified every time I upload a video to YouTube. And if they do not, I do have a texting service that I do pay for, and I invite you to join that, and I will text you a link to the video once I get a new video uploaded, and I will do that every single time that I do it. My number is 979-316-7944. You can see it right here. That's why I'm pointing right there, but I will have it on the screen for you as well if you would like to join my texting community. It's totally free to you, and you can opt out at any time. Anyway, one of the most asked questions is, how do I pick my ribbons for my bows, for my wreaths? And so I wanted to share kind of my thought process of what I do to share my thought process of what I do when I'm going to start designing a wreath. And it all depends on the sign and what season it is. So anyway, I hope that you enjoy this video, and thanks for being here. All right, let's get started. So to get started in how I kind of, think about when I am going to design, like, what am I going to put in my bow? And so I always pull colors out of whatever sign I am doing. And so I already have this sign attached to this 18-inch grapevine form. And I've also included the hanger. So I just kind of look at it and see it has some greens and some oranges. It's kind of rustic because of the mason jar. It has, some black in it. It has some glitter on it. So I kind of want to look for more rustic fall patterns that I have in my stash. And so I pulled out an array of ribbons that I'm going to be using. Now, this one came from Craft Outlet, and I just kind of pull out, that greenery kind of matches. Now this pumpkin kind of matches those pumpkins, and that came from Hobby Lobby. Now these are burlap, and that's always good to put in a rustic wreath. Those came from Hobby Lobby. And that 2-inch orange in the burlap check came from Dollar General, and the burlap leaf came from Hobby Lobby. Okay, this is my favorite bow maker that I use to make these beautiful bows. It is called a Easy Bow Maker, and I'm showing it both ways only because I'm right-handed, and I like my spool to be on the right-hand side, and so that's why I just kind of have it upside down. Okay, to start my bow, I just have my largest ribbon that I'm going to be using in my bow, and the color that is the least dominant in my sign. And so I want to pull out some of this green. So I have this 2.5-inch ribbon. This is from Craft Outlet. I measure out about an 8-inch tail because I want to leave me some room to dovetail. And then I measure out a 5-inch loop. I gather it in the middle, and I twist it so that the tail and the loop will be with the right side of the ribbon up. And so then I'm just, pulling a bit more. I gather it in the middle, and then I'll twist it one time and have the right side of the tail or the right side of the loop correct. And so then I'll cut that off, and I kind of hold up my loops to make sure that they are the same size, because I have been known to kind of get them off, even though I call myself measuring them. I'm not going to lie. And so anyway, I just cut those tails off, and then I'll move on to my next ribbon that I want to put in this bow. And it's this 2.5-inch pumpkin rustic fall ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby. And just measured out probably about a 4-inch tail, and I gather it in the middle, and I usually go to the right side because I guess that's my dominant side. I twist it, and then I make my loop. I pull that tail up there, so that gives it a little character to my bow. I make just a smaller loop, maybe about a 4.5-inch loop, gathered in the middle, and I'm also going to twist so that my next loop will be with the right side of the ribbon. Nope, I'm actually cutting that off. That's right, I cut that off because I want one tail going up and one tail going down. And so this just adds some character to your bow. So then now I just take that same ribbon and gather it in the middle and just do one twist. That I'm not quite sure why I did two. Maybe the first one didn't twist. But usually I just do one twist so that it will, flip the ribbon with the loop to the right side. And so then I just make another about a 4.5-inch loop, and then I have like 4 tails to just kind of going up and then 2 coming down, and I really feel that this just adds character to my bow. Okay, I like this window pane ribbon, and I'm not going to dovetail this one only because of the way that it's made, but I cut it off, and it is probably the length of what the board was, and so I just gathered it in the middle. I'm not making a loop with these, but this window pane ribbon has some wire in it, and so I just put a layer of that ribbon in there. The next layer, I'm using that 2.5-inch green ribbon. I'm making a loop, and I just twist the tails so that they are on the right side, and I had gathered it in the middle, and I put one of the tails up and then one of them coming down, and then I make this is probably a little bit smaller loop, so maybe like a 4-inch loop, and I have one tail going up, one tail coming down, and then I put it in the middle. I guess that's why I like this bow maker, because it has the dowels in the middle, so that it kind of adds like fingers. Anyway, so I'm now cutting off just a smaller of the window pane, and then I'll just put that in opposite way that the other tails were going up, and this one I'm kind of making like an X with my window pane mesh, if that makes sense. Okay, so then I have this 1.5-inch burlap with the ragged edges, and I'm just making probably about a 3-inch loop and just cutting off some of that. I stick that in there, and it really just depends on, honestly, what kind of look I'm going for. I really think that when you add all of these different textures and different colors, and just, because my projects, my wreaths are mostly rustic. So that's why I use a lot of burlap. I use a lot of gingham. I use a lot of check. I use a lot of these rustic tones. And so then now this layer is, this 2.5-inch ribbon came from Dollar General. And so I just make a tail, have that going up, and I twist it in the middle. And then I have, once I'm layering my bow like this, I don't have to, do a whole lot. I just kind of go back and forth. I'm just making 2 loops like that. And then I have this tail going down. I just continue to make loops. Depending on how full I want my bow will kind of depend on how many ribbons I have. Since this bow is going to be like a focal point accent for my grapevine, I want it to be pretty dominant, so I have quite a few ribbons in this bow. So this 1.5-inch burlap ribbon with the leaves came from Hobby Lobby, and this is going to be the top of my bow, so I'm going to gather it in the middle. I'm probably making these a little less than 3-inch loops, and I gather it in the middle, and then I twist, and I'm going to make 6 loops with this burlap leaf ribbon. When I have all of my ribbons on there and the bow made the way that I want, I have 2 pipe cleaners, and I just twist them together so that it makes me a longer pipe cleaner. And then I go in between those dowels and I go around one side of the bow, and then I go around the other side so that I can twist it. And there are some tools that kind of help. I try to take my time and kind of slide my bow up those dowels and hold my pipe cleaner so that my bow, none of my ribbons shift, and the best that I can. And so I just form my pipe cleaner around the middle of my bow, and then I twist that very, very tight. I kind of turn the bow, or I use my needle nose pliers to kind of pull those pipe cleaners very very together, and twist them so that the bow kind of pops and is very tight. Fluffing your bow is very, very, very important. That is one of the most important things in bow making. So I just have this fluff box. Now, you do not necessarily need to have one of these. I bought it from Pro Bow the Hand. I will have a link to it in the description box if that's something that you would like to have, in your tools. But it's not anything that you need. It's just a very heavy box that I painted silver, and I put a handle on it so that I could handle it a little bit better. And so then it has a little screw, little hook in the middle, and then it has a nail on the side so that you can hook your wire, or you can hook your pipe cleaner so that your bow doesn't move around. And then it just helps, you can kind of pull your ribbon tails, you can kind of fluff out your loops and fluff out your bow. What I'm doing now is I am dovetailing each of the ends of my ribbons. I'm just folding them together and just using my scissors, just making a V cut or a dovetail. It kind of provides a finished look to the ends of your ribbon. And then I will go around, just make sure I didn't miss any. I will fluff out any loops that may be smashed. And that is another thing, is I almost always use wired ribbon in my bow making, because if it does get smashed or pushed down, you can always fluff out your bow, especially if you are shipping and that kind of thing. We do the best we can, but bows always do seem to get mashed down. So if you use wired ribbon, it can be fluffed up and everything looks really nice and pretty. Here's my bow all finished and looking cute. So to attach it to my grapevine, I find the place that I want it and I thread it through the grapevine. I don't wrap it around it. I thread it through. I use my needle nose pliers if I need to get those pipe cleaners, pull through, and then I twist it off in the back. And so here is how it looks on the wreath with all of the florals and just all of the stuff. And anyway, it just looks really, really nice and all put together. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope that this bow tutorial was helpful to you. Thanks for all of your support of my channel. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. God bless.